The weekly code quiz. We will now look at an example of using the background image property. We are taking some code from a previous example where we showed how to wrap text around photographs within an article. Now let's look at the HTML. Most of this code is the placeholder text for our article. Since this page only has a single article, we have removed any navigation from the header and only have a single section. Into what element do we load the background image? Here is our CSS. We are loading the background image into the body. What do we do so that the image will not repeat? Because we only want the image to display once at the top, we have set the background repeat to no repeat. How do we plan a fallback if the image does not load? If the image doesn't load, we would just want a white background. We will only focus on the CSS that is relevant to our exercise. Our container that has our content is set to 80% the browser width and is centered. By setting the height to 300 pixels, it allows the first section to overlap. How do we distinguish the background from the text? Finally, our first section will also have a background color that is white to separate it from the background. By adding the padding, it gives us some space between the edges and the text in the section that overlaps. What would happen if we have a repeating image? The key change we would make is in our CSS. We will change the background repeat to repeat. This is the result. The image will repeat horizontally and vertically. Since our image spans the full width, it repeats vertically. Can we load more than one image in the background? Now let's look at an example with more than one image loaded as a background image. We have made no changes to the HTML, but here's the CSS. We are loading two new images, one of a palmetto and the other of a water background with a turtle. Neither image will repeat. We add the background color as a backup. This is how it would display. Can we repeat only one of those images? And finally, here is the CSS to repeat one of the images, the palmetto. And here is the result. From a design perspective, you would never do this. It is simply to illustrate the function of the code. Even loading more than one image is probably something you would only do occasionally, as it is difficult to visually work with two images loading into the same element and have them go together well, especially with responsive design. The technique has been used where one of the images creates a textured background and the repeating element creates a pattern as an overlay. But again, it is not likely something you would see on modern websites. Presented by Designers Learn Code.